This podcast is part of the Gonna Geek Network. The opinions expressed may not represent other podcasts or affiliates of Gonna Geek. Check out more podcasts at GonnaGeek.com and get ready because geekness starts in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance level 10. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents of equal or higher security clearance.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Agent Will, or Rummy.
Ooh, switched it up to Rummy this week.
I go by anything. I'm easy. That's
I've
what's
heard that about you.
Yeah. It's true.
I think that's true for a lot of guys. Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. one-shot number 2. We're going to be talking Paleyfest 2014. Hey, just a reminder, you can find us at legendsofshield.com. Also, our voicemail line, 612-888-POD0 or 612-888-7690. We are a fan-based podcast on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the general Marvel Universe as it pertains to the show. How are you guys doing this week?
Fantastic.
Doing good.
Alrighty. Say, we got some feedback from our podcast last week. And
Ooh, I can't wait to hear.
Yeah. One of the things was somebody called out the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit that was shown in the Marvel Studios Assembling a Universe last week. And that comes from our friends Agent Wing, Op, and Beef. They said, hey, why didn't you guys talk about it? It was so cool. Well, that's because we kind of didn't know what we were looking at.
It was not a production. Thank you.
Concept art, yeah.
It was concept art.
And it was like 4 seconds in the 40-minute thing.
Yeah.
Not even. It was like 20 frames. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, in a Bay movie though, that's like a lifetime.
We know how I feel about Michael Bay.
Yes, we do.
We shall not speak of it.
We shall not speak its name.
But regardless, the Hulkbuster suit did look pretty cool.
Oh, of course it did.
I don't know if it's being used to just restrain the big guy or defeat the big guy, but either way, I could see those two having a go at it for a while until the suit runs out of power, I guess.
A lot more destruction, a lot more, yeah.
Kill planets with them. Destroy planets!
Maybe not planets, maybe just a small moon.
That's no moon.
That's no moon.
It's a space station.
It's a Lego space station.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Oh, they make them.
Did you see the Lego movie?
Yes. Everything is awesome.
Oh, beware the Kraggle.
It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it, but that song stuck in my head for like the next 2 weeks. I was walking into the office going, everything is awesome. I would sing to my dogs. They would be howling.
Well, for one of the things, it's repetitive in of itself. And the second thing is they play it throughout the entire movie.
And they just play the first 4 lines of it.
Right. So by the time you're done with the two-hour indoctrination, it's pretty much ingrained in your brain.
Well, they didn't play the whole, 12-inch dance single of it, that goes on for like 15 minutes, but I appreciated that.
Yeah, but you could find it on YouTube.
You could find anything on YouTube. You could find 24 hours of happy. Because
you know what you can't find on YouTube?
What?
The entirety of the Paleyfest recording.
Oh, that was... We'll talk about that later, but yes, what a pain. But we did find out something else on feedback, didn't we, Haley?
Yeah, we talked last week about how I would watch an entire show about Agent Peggy Carter of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel listened. They are doing a pilot for Agent Carter with a possible 13-episode run or less for a first season, and if it's well received, maybe a second season.
This will be very interesting because, as we were speaking about before, there's not too many women that have their own show or movie in the Marvel Universe, and this would definitely be focused on a woman in the Marvel Universe. So, pretty cool, especially early on when things are starting to set up.
Yeah, and I was bitching pretty highly about that last week, saying there are no great female star of a Marvel series. So, look what happened.
Yay!
Ask and ye shall receive.
Apparently, we need to be careful about what we wish for from now on. We have tremendous power, I guess.
All right, then let me put this out there again. Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel.
Ooh. Well, you want Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, or you just want Ms. Marvel?
I want Ms. Marvel. In the comics now, she's called Captain Marvel.
Okay.
She took up that name.
I'm all for it. So we have some other news items this week, right?
Yes, we do.
Before I say that, thank you very much, Wing and Agent Wing and Agent Op and Agent Beef. We appreciate the feedback. If anybody else wants to chime in on feedback, you know how to get a hold of us. It's at the front and end of the show, legendsofshield.com. So back to the news, right, Will?
Yes, and it looks like we are going to see one of our other mega nerds in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Patton Oswalt has signed on.
I can't wait to see him. The last thing I saw him in was Justified, and I just absolutely loved him. He was kind of a putz, but he was a badass putz in Justified. He absolutely deserved any accolades he got from that.
The last thing I saw him in were the college humor videos with Batman, where Batman is just really dumb. And he played, who did he play? The Penguin, I think? Oh, it was fantastic.
I haven't seen those. Wait, I think I did see those. I have to watch them again.
Where Batman keeps killing people and he's like, he's just sleeping.
I have to look those up. I know I saw them, but I was probably at work with the sound turned down. So I have to watch those again. Because it removes the cobwebs from the back of my head somehow, and I kind of do remember those. I saw him. I love every time he pops up somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, it's Patton Oswalt. He was in Caprica as the guy on TV, the comedian / preacher on TV all the time. And he's always popping up in all sorts of nerd fests. He was in Parks and Rec, and he went on that whole Star Wars diatribe that lasted like 10 minutes, which was brilliant. And if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube somewhere. You just got to see it. It's fantastic. And it was all improv.
Oh, nice.
That doesn't surprise me because he is definitely one of us.
Oh, yeah.
I remember watching that and just, I was like, oh, this is so cool.
The producers of Parks and Rec had told him, you know, they wanted him to just go on nonsensically about whatever he wanted to do. And he's like, I think I could do this, you know, off the cuff. And they just let the cameras roll. And it was completely improv, just off the top of his head. And he just kept going and going and going. And if you look, the people behind him, the actors, are breaking character and cracking up because he was so brilliant.
Well, they only used I think they used 2 minutes of it or something in the show. And then if you go to YouTube, you can see the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to do that. I think any one of us could probably go on a diatribe rant about Star Wars at any particular point in time. It's just that good of material and that central to geekdom that it's pretty easy to talk about if you've been watching it for 30 years like I have. But it'll be great to see him in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're getting a lot of big name actors. We got Jamie Alexander. We got Bill Paxton. I think this series has a lot of potential. The ratings of this series are starting to go back up a little bit. It started at 12, went down into the 5s or low 6s, high 5s, and they're starting to come back up. I will bet you around the Winter Soldier movie that we've got going on that they'll come back even more. So really excited to see the talent, really excited to see the storyline pick up. And another famous actor that we have coming to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Amy Acker, who I'm most familiar with recently with her wonderful rendition of Root on Person of Interest. I absolutely love that show, and I love the way she plays in that show, that character of Root, and she's probably one of my two favorite characters in that show right now, the other being Agent Shaw. So Root and Shaw definitely make up the cornerstone to that show for me, and I can't wait to see. And she played with Coulson in a Shakespeare play. What was that?
Much Ado.
Much Ado About Nothing. They did have roles together. They weren't a couple, but
he played her father.
Right.
She was Beatrice. She was beautiful and just breathtaking and hysterically funny.
Yes, I can't wait to see her play opposite of Phil because I could just see those two personalities meshing really well. I don't know if she volunteered for this or if they reached out to try to get her. Either way, I'm going to love when I see her on the screen as the cellist.
She's part of the Whedon family. I mean, that's the whole Whedon thing. I went to see Much Ado, and she played opposite Alexis Denisof. who played Benedict, and he was from
Buffy and Angel. He played
Angel,
Wesley.
Yeah, he played Wesley on Angel. Their chemistry was amazing together. Clark Gregg was on it as well. You watch it as basically, if you watch Much Ado, it's a giant Whedon plus fan scream, because it had Amy, Alexis, it had Nathan Fillion, it had all sorts of people that you've seen before in all of his shows and movies. So I highly recommend it. But she was on it. She was brilliant. She played Beatrice. She was very funny, and she did have a few scenes opposite of Clark Gregg. They were great. They're awesome.
Yep, can't wait to see it. But actually, we got some research that we did after last podcast, right, Haley?
Right. We talked about Black Panther, how we haven't seen him in a movie yet. There were talks about possibly putting him in his own movie for Phase 2. That didn't pan out so much. They've confirmed that they do plan on doing a Black Panther movie at some point, but they haven't said when. And if we haven't really heard about anything committed at this point, I wouldn't expect to see it in even Phase 3.
Yeah, they're not even talking about a completed script at this point in time, right?
Right. They're just saying we plan to do it.
Yeah. They want to do it. They plan to do it. No casting, no script, no nothing. So I can't imagine them not going with the Black Panther, because Black Panther is so integral into Avengers at some point in time. They're just not going with it right now.
Right. And then what we do know will be in Phase 3, Ant-Man, which is the first movie of Phase 3. It comes out next summer after Avengers. And then there's also going to be a Doctor Strange movie in Phase 3.
I'm definitely going to have to read up on Doctor Strange, because I know absolutely nothing about it. So that will be cool to learn and go see the movie. If Marvel's putting it on the block with such movies like Iron Man and Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy and all that, and Avengers, I think we're safe to assume that it's going to be at least a decent movie.
All right. Doctor Strange is one of those characters that in the right hands, he's awesome. And in the wrong hands, he's terrible. But Marvel's done a good job with all of their movies at this point, so I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, they definitely got the A-team making all the storylines up right now.
Will they give him that awful cape? See, I just brought the conversation to a halt.
I kind of hope so, because without the cape, he looks even dorkier.
Hey, wait, it's the cape with that gigantic collar that comes up over his head.
But if he doesn't have the cape, he's just got like a blue onesie.
Everything since the X-Men, and I know this is different studios, but everything since the X-Men and Spider-Man, and even if you flip over to the DC universe with Batman and Superman lately with the Man of Steel and the Dark Knight movies, I think we've seen an evolution in the costumes. You know, no yellow spandex anymore. The costumes definitely have been more realistic and more functional than they have been. If there's an issue with Doctor Strange's look, I'm sure they'll make it as functional as they can.
I don't know.
I'm going to challenge that, because we saw Captain America in a spangly jumpsuit.
But it's weathered, so it makes it cool.
No, not in the Avengers. In the Avengers, it was shiny and new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I was gonna challenge that, because with X-Men, they dressed them all in those leather jumpsuits. And if you watch the DVD or Blu-ray, behind the scenes, they couldn't move. There's scenes where they had to like jump over a wall, and they had to like step over, because the leather constricts your movement so much that they were like, we can't move. We can't, like, they could jump like 3 inches,
All right. Sounds like those suits in Tron Legacy that they all had to wear.
There was a motion comic called Astonishing X-Men, which is really good. Everyone should watch it. But in it, they're getting the band back together, and Wolverine's like, does this mean we're going to be wearing spandex? We're going to be wearing spandex, aren't we? And Cyclops says, yeah, the black leather's starting to scare people.
All right. Maybe.
Although you are right, the black leather does look cooler. It's more menacing, but realistically, it's as bad as it looks. Spandex moves and breathes better.
Yeah,
but you don't want to make it part of your costume, because it really looks ridiculous. Trust me, I'm a cycler. I know.
Yeah, I don't think I would want to be cycling in leather. That's for sure.
Although I've cycled in a lot worse, but we won't get into that. Let's move on, shall we?
All right, that's it for the news. We had a chance to experience, well, I say we. It's really Will.
The royal we.
The royal we. Had a wonderful chance to experience the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel at Paleyfest 2014. Will, enlighten us, please.
Well, now remember this was about a week ago. So it was the weekend after the Marvel Studios Assembly Universe thing. We got to see the episode that airs this week.
No way.
I got to see, they surprised us. They came on stage and they're like, and it was, I believe it was Jeff Loeb, the executive producer, and came on and said, we got a surprise. We're going to air the end of the beginning, which is the title of the episode that airs this week. And up till now, I'm completely sworn to secrecy, but it was amazing. And the special appearance by Hulk and Thor will just blow over. Oh, wait. No. Anyway,
Dude. Don't do that to me.
No spoilers, but no, it was great. And it was what I loved about the episode, without giving too much away. Well, not giving too much away, is that it really felt, I don't want to say we're getting the band back together. It felt like, okay, we've spent the last several episodes defining what everyone's role is, who everyone's personality is, and who the big bad and what the trouble is. And now we're going to move forward and go on this adventure. And that's how it felt.
Wow. How much were those tickets?
They were expensive. They were like, it depended on where you sat. I think mine were like $45.
$45 for an episode a week and a half before anybody else could see it? Right at the time where you'd want to see it? Oh, dude. Yeah. It's a deal.
And then it was a Q&A with the entire cast. The whole panel was there. Paleyfest does this every year. Paleyfest, the Paley Center for Television is, maybe I should explain what that is. Here in LA, the Paley Center for Television celebrates different TV shows. And they celebrate the history of TV and what it's done to the arts as an art form. And once a year, they hold what's called Paleyfest. What it is that for about a week or 2 weeks, every night, they will assemble the cast and the executive producers and the writing crew of your favorite TV shows. And you pay money, and it raises money for the Paley Center. And you go and sometimes you get to watch an episode, sometimes you don't. And you get to sit in the audience and see a panel discussion with whoever is featured that year. This year, I completely forgot about it. I went last year, and last year I got to see The Walking Dead, which was amazing. And then I had tickets for The Big Bang Theory, but I couldn't go to that because I had another engagement. I had to go to Dallas and meet your lot. So,
oh, bummer.
I gave up Big Bang so I could meet you guys.
What a trade.
And then I know. And then this year rolled around, and I completely forgot about it, like is my way, because I forget things constantly.
Because you drink and you're old.
Because I drink, I'm old, I drink, I forget. So, so this year I completely forgot about it, and I don't know, and I'm on their mailing list, but I just let it all go to junk mail. I was like, oh, let me see when Paleyfest is, and it was like on a Thursday, and I was like, oh my God, it's going on now. Oh my God. Oh, it's because I heard that Lost was celebrating 10 years, which I can't even wrap my brain around that.
Since they started?
Yeah, the first episode of Lost was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Seriously. So then I was like, oh, let's see who else is on the schedule. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on for Sunday.
Bonus.
I'm like, oh my God, are there tickets left? Are there tickets left? And I was able to score some tickets, and I went, and I had such a great time. Just to wrap it up, they are wrapping up, I think it's today, they're wrapping it up with the panel for American Horror Story.
Oh, wow.
Coven. That's going on today.
Now, is this all in that main theater?
Yeah, it's all, and it takes place at what used to be the Kodak Theater, but now is the Dolby Theater, which is the same theater that they do the Oscars. And it's such a beautiful theater. And this is like the third time I've been there. I took photos of it. It's a really beautiful, beautiful theater. It feels old and modern at the same time. It's got many levels. It's great. And it's kind of cool to be sitting there. I'm thinking, and because I was on the main floor, I was on the mezzanine, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is where all the A-listers sat. I wonder who sat in this chair. I wonder who sat in that chair. So.
Do they have assigned seats, you think?
Oh, yeah. No, they absolutely do.
Okay. So it's not first come, first serve.
Oh, for the Paleyfest? No.
No, not Paleyfest for the Oscars.
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's absolutely assigned seating because they have to run rehearsals. And as a matter of fact, what they do for a week, because that whole takes place at Hollywood and Highland, which is a big center. It's a big tourist mega craziness that they've built. And that's where the theater is. And it's on the same block as the Chinese theater. And it's right across the street from Jimmy Kimmel. But they've created this long staircase that goes up to the theater, and it was all designed just so they could house the Oscars. And they close off that entire street for a whole week to start getting ready for the red carpet. And then within the theater, a few days before, I had to set up all the cameras and all the equipment and all the jibs and everything else. And they actually put cutouts with either the names or a picture of every celebrity and exactly where they're going to be sitting.
Wow.
So that it's a huge, it's not just turning on camera. It's like, it is a huge undertaking. There's one master director, but then there are other directors that direct everybody else. They have to know where all the stars and directors are going to be sitting so that when they go through rehearsal, the director will know when he needs a shot of Martin Scorsese, he knows exactly where he's sitting and the camera goes to him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite an event. It's very intricate.
Well, in this particular case, I actually got to watch the live stream. I just got done with a phone call, and I noticed on Facebook they said, "Hey, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Paleyfest live panel will be streaming on the website." And I was like, "Oh, dude!" So I actually got to see all of the panel myself, but it was just a fluke, really, and it was great. We had, let me see, about 12 people on the panel, if not more, maybe 14. I can't count right now.
I was excited about the moderator.
Yes. Felicia Day was moderating, which was great. I'm so glad it was her and not Chris Hardwick. I love Chris Hardwick, but I'm getting a little bit too much of him lately, so yay, Felicia.
Yeah. Ah! Muppet Scream. I was like, yay, Felicia!
And then
and by the way, I'm sorry, really quick. By the way, last night I noticed on Netflix, her internet series is on Netflix now. The Guild. It's on. You could watch The Guild on Netflix now. I just noticed that last night.
Awesome. Guild, love it. I was just talking about that earlier today when Aaron Gray showed up at the con. So The Guild, worth it. You should check it out if you haven't already. So she came out and moderated, and then we had a full panel. You had Marissa and Jed Wheaton, who are the kind of co-creators / writers, although I think Marissa's seemed to be more in charge than Jed, but who knows?
I think Jed is more conceptual and Marissa is more dialogue, because when they were on there and when they were speaking, I realized that Marissa's the one that writes all the really snarky dialogue. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, she had a couple of great comments. And although Jed had his punch in there too when they were talking about Sky at the end. Also, we had Fitzsimmons, or Skimmons, as we were told during the panel, and Ian Chester, or I just butchered his name, didn't I? So we'll just call him Ian. And then Elizabeth Henstridge, who plays Gemma, was there. Brett Dalton and Chloe Bennett, who play Grant Warden Sky. Clark Gregg and Ming Na Wen, who play Agent Coulson and Agent May. And then the two big executive producers that seem like they're really active on the show and in the universe in general is Jeff Loeb and Jeff Bell. And if you go to IMDb and you look up either of these two guys, Jeff Loeb, he's got one heck of a career behind him, but ever since 2006 when the Marvel Studios stood up, he's basically been Marvel Studios. He's been involved in a lot of creative stuff. It just seems like he's got his hands into everything. So if there's somebody speaking for Marvel on this panel, that definitely would have been Jeff Loeb. And Jeff Bell, he's also got a fantastic sci-fi fantasy cred, and just go check them out. They definitely they're star-studded, absolutely, on this show, which is great to see. The one thing I will say before we go any further, and we posted this on our Facebook page already. Will took some great pictures, but I have to say Clark Gregg is definitely a true superhero. I mean, like in real life, he's a true superhero, because at one point in time, there was in the Q&A section, there was this mentally handicapped woman who came up to the mic to ask a question with her helper. And it's hard to tell if it was a caregiver or a family member or whatever. But the essence was this mentally handicapped woman was so distraught that Agent Phil Coulson was dead at the end of the Avengers. She just wanted to tell Clark that she was so happy he was alive, and she couldn't get anything out. She was so flustered by the enormity of everything. You could tell she was really happy. And Clark, to his credit, he didn't say anything. He just leapt from the stage, tore off his microphone, leapt from the stage, and went down and hugged her for a good, 10, 20 seconds or whatever. She hugged him back, and then when she was on her way back to the seat, she just pumped her fist up in the air like, yeah! It was a very touching moment. So Clark, I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for that, because my sister is mentally handicapped, so I understand what that means to somebody.
It was a beautiful moment to watch. It really, I'm not very sentimental or feeling because
he's saying he has no heart.
I have no heart. I really don't care about people. I really don't. And but it was a truly great moment. And she was doing fist pumps. And she was almost in tears because she was so happy she got a hug from him. And he got a standing ovation for it. It was awesome. It was a great moment.
But there was a whole bunch of great moments that happened during that panel. Got a lot of snippets about what's happening with the universe, what's happening with the show. What stood out to you most of all, Will?
It's kind of stupid and silly, and I know that most people already know this, but the fact that Jeff Bell pulled out Chloe Bennett and pointed out to everybody that she used to be a teen singing idol in China and she had a hit record, I had to look it up, and I was like, oh my God, she really did. Just like Billie Piper.
She's the Robin Sparkles of the cast.
She is the Robin Sparkles of the cast.
That's great, but it's not just her. I guess Marissa's got quite a little history to her too.
Oh yeah. Marissa does as well.
Yeah, she was also a pop star in Asia, so it's great. I want to be a pop star in Asia.
Somehow, I think you already are.
Oh, woohoo!
And not good. I guess if you wanna make it big in Hollywood, and you're Asian, you have a cute daughter, you get her to sing a song and record it, make her a big star, and then she comes and moves over here. I know I'm generalizing. I'm horrible that way. I'm sorry.
It's because no one's Asian in the movies.
Right. Exactly. We actually don't have it. You know what? Okay. All right. Here's my soapbox. We need more minorities on TV and movies. I agree wholeheartedly. Not every Asian on television has to be the mathematical genius. Not every black man has to be the villain. And not every Latino person has to be the person working on your car or in your garden. Just saying. We need more. But we're getting more and more. We're getting more and more. And this is real quick. We're getting more and more strong female roles, strong Asian roles, strong African-American roles. I'm all for it. Where's the Latino love, peeps? Come on,
It's George Lopez.
Really? Really? George Lopez.
My son watches him, so I got to throw that out there.
George Lopez. All right, we can move on.
So, Haley, did you get a chance to actually see any of this stuff?
I saw the little bits that there's some clips on YouTube. Like I said earlier, the whole thing isn't available in video form anywhere. But Stargate Pioneer was kind enough to record the audio for me, so I got to listen to that.
Yeah, let me tell you, the high quality of the audio. I was surprised by this and didn't have a setup to do it, so I literally put my iPhone by the speaker and recorded it that way. So we're talking old school 80s tape player here.
What really sucks about that is that if you go to YouTube and you look up everything else from Paleyfest, you could find almost every single other Paleyfest, the entirety of the panel discussions they have. But for some reason, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, they're holding that one close to the chest.
Yeah, I guess. Like I said, you did hear the whole thing. So did you have a favorite part of it, Haley?
I really liked the Skimmins discussion.
Enlighten us as to what Skimmins is.
Oh, just Chloe Bennett was joking. I think they were asking her about potential love interest for her or something along that line. And she was like, well, Skimmins.
Sky Simmons, yes.
Yes, that is what that means.
Yes.
There was a whole back and forth on that. It was great to see how much flirting they were all doing with each other.
Not just with each other, with members of the cinematic universe as well.
Oh my God, that was great. They were setting up love interests like between May and Thor, and thinking that Sky would be the love child of May and Thor,
or Coulson and Sif,
and then having to do flashbacks and recording those scenes.
That was great. That was Ming.
Only because it's good for the story.
That was Ming Na's throwing it out there. Hey, you never know. Something that they throw out in a panel like this might stick. You never know.
It can happen.
Although it appears that none of the cast really knows what's going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah. Chloe, who plays Sky, was talking about how she was trying to figure out what she is, and she's just Googling things on her own. And she's like, am I this? No. Am I this? No. What about the Kree? Maybe.
I love that, because, production and the writer's room, apparently, I guess, are all in the same building. So the actors are looking for any excuse they possibly can to, hang out in the writer's room and ask them what's going on and stick their heads in. And they're just keeping everything shut to them. And here's one thing. Now, I'm assuming, I don't know, because I have seen photos of not this particular writing rooms, but I've been in other writing rooms and I've seen pictures. I actually used to work in an office that was right next door to, I think it was Suits or it was one of those shows. And the writer's room was in the office next to mine. And I would have to go outside and walk by their windows because it was a screwed up office and the bathroom was down the hall. Here in California, we have outdoor halls. I would walk by their window and I could walk by their window and see up on a giant dry erase board all the episodes, a giant grid of key points that were going to happen in each episode along this giant wall. And that's what a lot of writers' rooms have. So
sounds like a perfect use for a panoramic camera.
That's actually how we do a lot of reality. We write a lot of reality TV shows. It's very much the same way. But
so you actually script reality TV shows.
It's changing, but it's not for the better. A lot of stuff now is called scripted reality. So they'll set things up. But then there's a lot of shows that I've worked on where it's like a docu-soap and kind of like a Real Housewives. And they'll shoot scenes and they'll shoot scenes and shoot scenes and shoot scenes. And then we'll cut certain scenes together, and then you'll walk into a room and they'll have 3x5 cards, and they'll have along the ceiling they'll have the episode numbers, and then we'll have all these scenes on 3x5 cards, and then you just start lining them up from top to bottom all the way around the room, and then inevitably the executive producer will come in once, twice, 3 times a week and rearrange all the cards, and you have to recut all the show. We'll get into it sometime. I'll tell you all about it. Anyway, that's how they're done. You go into a writer's room. They have a big graph. They set up plot points of what they want, and they'll have sometimes 3x5 cards, sometimes a wide erase board, and write in the big plot points and where they want it to land throughout the season, and then they'll write around that. So I'm assuming that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in their writing room, they have the same thing, and they were laughing because all the actors will make whatever excuse they possibly can to pop their head into the writer's room and take a peek. And that was how I was able to answer a short question in 30 minutes.
The power of Agent Rummy. My favorite moment of the entire thing was the stuffed bear or the stuffed animal lady.
Oh yeah, she was like 8 rows behind me, 6 or 8 rows behind me.
And it wasn't just because she had the bear, but it was because of the question she asked and how she answered it and how Felicia actually moderated it. So I've got this clip ready to go. You guys want to listen to it?
Sure.
Go for it.
All right.
Oh, look, somebody has swag right there. Do you see that up there with the Thor? There's a Thor doll. Reward the Thor doll. Is that the collectible? Oh, she's on the end. There's a lot of dolls. There's a lot of them.
Fire.
T-shirt. What's going on?
Field shirts on.
There's a Muppet show back there.
Hello?
Hey, there you go.
Okay, cool, it works.
So I know that there has been mention of a season finale, but what is the official word on the pickup for season 2 and beyond?
There's
No word.
no word yet.
Who do I have to shank?
He's hiding it in the dolls.
You sleep with everybody.
It's always the one with the plushies who are most dangerous.
She said Shay.
Yes.
You thought she said something else.
I thought she said she said
Megan
What
said
the
Shank.
fuck?
I thought said Shank.
Please.
I thought she said something else.
Okay, let's
What did she say?
Let's move on. Shank.
Shank. Did you bring? Did you pay tickets for all those guys?
Maybe.
I like you. Okay, next question.
When Felicia Day says she likes you, it's a cool day.
You know, that girl had the best look too. She looked like she would actually shank somebody. It was great.
She did.
And yeah, her and her girlfriends showed up with all these stuffed teddy bears, and all the teddy bears were dressed as different Marvel characters. It was cute.
Yep. So we went into if the show was going to have a second season or not. It has not been picked up for a second season, but in an earlier comment, Jed Wheaton mentioned that they had mapped out not only the end of season 2, but the end of season 3. So they know where they want to go with the show. They know where they want to be within the Marvel Universe. They just don't know if they're going to get picked up next year or not. And I believe that their success in the next couple of weeks, and I do believe it's going to be a success with the Winter Soldier movie, is going to propel this series forward, which will be great for everybody.
I think it's a given because of all the other projects that they have that they want to start up. They're talking about all this interaction, the Agent Carter series. They're talking about all these other things that they want to start out with, and they have ideas to launch. And they wouldn't be thinking that way if they thought Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was not going to come back. So I know it's not up to them. I know they're still waiting for it, but I don't think that ABC or Marvel would be talking about other things if it wasn't coming back for season 2. So I'm going to bet my money that it is. Season 3, still a waiting game on that. But season 2, I'll bet you anything it'll be picked up.
One thing that I've noticed throughout any given genre when it's thrown on TV, whether it's CSI or Law and Order or Battlestar Galactica or Stargate, once you start saturating the airwaves with your IP, you can quickly overrun your fan base. And for example, I'm going to put Star Trek, because you had The Next Generation, you had Deep Space Nine, you had Voyager. By the time Enterprise rolled around, and they actually created an entire network around it, the Paramount Network, everybody was just sick of it. And so I think it's a very delicate balance that you have to keep in between trying to put enough content out there that satisfies your audience, but at the same time leaves them wanting for more, so that they're always going to the movies, they're always watching the show, they're always going on Netflix to see the series there, whatever it is.
Listen, all good things come to an end, as we know, but I don't think
nice.
It's true. And there's
that
also
was a nice Star Trek Next Generation reference.
Of course. Yeah. Of course it was. And the other the bad cliche is strike while the iron's hot. Right now, the iron is kind of hot for Marvel, so they're doing whatever they can to get everything out there. And we're going to start getting some really great content, and I think we are right before the crest of Marvel. We're right before hitting that tipping point for Marvel, so everyone's still very excited about it, and it's going to go on, and hopefully we'll have several more years left of it, but at some point it'll start to wane out, and then something else, some other shiny object will come up, and everyone will gravitate towards that.
Yeah, you do have the Star Wars movies coming back too, so that could detract from a bunch of stuff going on. But I think a lot of the temperature, if you want to call it, of the Marvel Universe will be determined between the Winter Soldier and Avengers. If Avengers 2 does not pull Age of Ultron, does not pull out similar numbers to at least Winter Soldier, if not the original Avengers, then you're going to see some dwindling of the universe. But if it keeps on pulling in more numbers and more money, I don't know. We'll see.
So it's only got to make $1 billion again? Is that it?
$1 billion.
Yeah. I don't know if it has to make $1 billion, but anything less than, I mean, it will be a decline. It doesn't mean it can't come back up eventually. But I don't know. We'll see.
There is a lot of great buzz about Winter Soldier. I know that there was a screening of it here this weekend. I have a couple friends who went to it, and of course they're not saying anything. They're just saying that they loved it. They said it was full of action and that had a great storyline. And it's being critically acclaimed. It's like the critics are really loving it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, our plan is to definitely podcast about it after we see it next weekend, because at this point in time it's coming out next weekend. So we'll see when we can get that podcast out. But one of the things that they said in this panel over and over again, Haley, was...
You need to watch the episode on April 1st. You go see Winter Soldier on April 4th, and then watch the next episode on April 8th.
Yes, and they hammered that over and over and over again, and Jeff Loeb was the one who did that, and the man can't remember a date to save his life either, apparently. So that was a running joke throughout the whole thing, too. But, yep, they're saying that, by saying that, they're basically saying there was a tie-in. Now, I don't know if you're going to have actors back and forth. I doubt if that's going to happen on any significant level, but you are going to change the S.H.I.E.L.D. universe with this movie. That's what everybody's been saying. It's not necessarily a spoiler at this point in time. It's just how it's going to be a change and how it's going to affect the show, which is going to matter.
I'm excited.
I am too.
Wait, let me say that again. I'm excited.
My enthusiasm is overwhelming.
You guys are great. We had a couple of great things that happened during this panel. Marissa was describing the origin of Agent May.
Oh, I love that. That was hysterical.
Do you two remember what happened?
Agent May was not cast as... It wasn't Ming-Na.
It wasn't an Asian part.
It was not an Asian part. And it's because Ming-Na was not cast as Agent May. They had the character, and the character's name in the script was Agent Rice. And then they cast Ming-Na, and they didn't think that was really a wise move, which they were right. They're like,
funny.
Let's change the name.
That would have been
You know
hilarious.
what? If she had been a character like in the 1960s, they probably would have named her Agent Rice.
Oh, that's true. They would have. But we're like, what, almost 60 years on the other side of that now? So
we had a discussion the other night talking about watching old TV shows from the 60s and some of the 70s, but like the 50s and 60s. And I don't like people anyway, but I was shocked.
we don't like
and
you
dismayed.
either, Will.
I don't... I'm cold-hearted. I don't have a heart. But anyway, I was shocked and dismayed at some of the sexism and racism of sitcoms that were taking place in the 60s and 70s that mostly the 60s, that my memory of them and society's memory, I'm like, oh, remember Gidget? That was a great show. And there was an episode on TV the other night on Cozy TV, and I was like, oh my God, it's Gidget. I started watching this, and I'm like, it was so sexist and so racist. I was appalled. Appalled, I tell you.
That's with everything from the Dukes of Hazzard to the Love Boat. It's all in there.
Isaac, your bartender. Hey.
Yeah. Or a car with the Confederate flag on the top of it, or you name it. You go back even into the 80s, as I was just talking about the shows, definitely is there. But I think, if you want to go sci-fi here, Star Trek, the original series, was one of the groundbreakers as far as exploring more advanced breaths for gender roles. So,
first bad interracial kiss on television.
Yeah.
Come on, it was a horrible kiss. I mean, everyone's like, it was the first interracial kiss, but when you watch it, you're like, they're not kissing; they're just smashing their faces against each other.
That's how they did
William
it back
Shatner
then.
thinks that's how humans kiss.
That's not sexy. That's not sexy. That's not sexy.
I will forever remember William Shatner as the man who burned his house down with a turkey fryer.
Okay, you lost me on that one.
He literally
I have a hard
burned
time believing he's a real person.
He literally burned his house down with a turkey fryer. Matter of fact, one of his community service things that he had to do after that was to put together a community service video, which I believe you could find on YouTube, about the safety of turkey fryers.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's great.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the Shat, just recently, within 2 or 3 days of each other, we had the Shat's birthday and Leonard Nimoy's birthday. So happy birthday to those two.
Happy birthday, Star Trek original. Okay, so also, Coulson had a really brief moment because he was asked a question of how do you play the difference between Agent Phil Coulson in the cinematic universe and Agent Phil Coulson in the television universe, and he basically said a little 5-second snippet, which was, how can you work for an organization that is integral in keeping secrets without expecting them to keep secrets from yourself? And as we've seen so far, I don't know if they're carried on beyond this week, but as we've seen so far, they've definitely been keeping secrets from poor old Agent Coulson, and he was just pointing that out, and probably a few more of them too. I mean, you got Skye and what's going on with her, who knows what's in Ward's past. Ming-Na is cloaked in secrecy right now, so you definitely got secrets all over the place with this organization.
I can say nothing.
Oh, thank you for not spoiling us.
I know nothing.
But you do know something about S.H.I.E.L.D. branding, don't you, Will?
Yeah. Yeah, that was another one of my favorite questions about somebody got up and asked them, for such a secret society, you're certainly branded really well.
Apparently, even their coffee maker on the plane has a S.H.I.E.L.D. logo on it.
Not just a coffee maker, the espresso maker.
An espresso maker, my bad.
Espresso maker, the espresso machine.
I actually have that clip. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
So for a secret society, you guys have a lot of stuff branded with S.H.I.E.L.D. Exactly. I mean, the water bottles, the cars. How far does it actually go? I mean, what has the art department been doing?
It goes.
Seriously, I mean, how far does it go?
You don't want to know how far it is. I will.
Did I show my tattoo?
Wait, so are we talking about the tattoos? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Does your shirt say Coulson is my homeboy? Well, then I think, frankly, you've answered your own question, sir. The organization is not a secret. What we do is.
I will say that there is an espresso maker on the plane that has S.H.I.E.L.D. on it. There's the trash can.
And Fitz can do you a latte where the foam is the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo.
I'd like to see that. The foam on my latte is the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo.
Apparently,
they didn't know that part of their training program is to be a barista at Starbucks for a while too.
Well, they've got the S.H.I.E.L.D. water too. I wonder if S.H.I.E.L.D. has its own bottling plant, or if they have someone whose job it is to peel the labels off of all the water bottles and put on the S.H.I.E.L.D. ones.
You can actually order your own specific water bottles. A company could do it for a promotion or whatever, so I'm sure that's how they do it. But...
No, I know.
They have a standing contract.
No. What it is, here's what it is. I'll tell you exactly what it is. S.H.I.E.L.D. got all of their stuff, which was left over from the Dharma Initiative.
Ooh. Lost
reference.
It's for when they go to all the career fairs. They're trying to recruit their top secret agents.
Right, They have S.H.I.E.L.D. everything. They have S.H.I.E.L.D. coffee mugs. They have S.H.I.E.L.D. water bottles. I'm sure they have S.H.I.E.L.D. condoms and all sorts of fun little packet stuffs. It's part of the parting gift.
One of the things that was mentioned in that clip was tattoos. I think some members of the cast actually have S.H.I.E.L.D. tattoos.
That would be a cool tattoo.
Yeah.
It would be a tramp stamp.
Coulson
has it as a tramp stamp.
Talking about tramp stamps, in keeping with the theme of Skye's love child, the cast was asked if they could do a scene with a Marvel movie character, who would it be? And this is the last clip I want to play from the panel, but it is hilarious. just to set it up, one of the things that was asked before this was who would you play in the Marvel Universe? And to a T, they all said, hey, we're going to play ourselves. So that question was null and void. But they then went on to say who they would play a scene with. So here we go.
And second question for each and every one of the cast. If you had to play a Marvel character in a movie, who would it be?
Oh. Coulson. I would go with Coulson. I mean, I'd like to play Thor, but I'm going to go with Coulson.
It's funny.
Well, I'm curious. It's the same answer.
It's the same answer, guy. Yeah.
We're doing what we can do.
What about the superheroes? Anybody have like a dream character that they either would like to play or they would like to be in a scene with, maybe? Yeah. Elizabeth?
I'd like to be in a scene with Loki. Just sit him down, have a cup of tea, like chat about his dad issues.
I feel like you would be a good couple. You guys, you would make him settle down. Just you would go out for dinner at the night, movie. He'd be there, do all that.
I've been in a scene with Loki.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, somehow I suspect you would have a different result.
Now that's shanking.
Chloe, do you have a dream person to be in a scene with?
Captain America, right? Chris Evans, and both Chris's would be nice.
At once?
And Scarlet.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Loki. I would like to just watch that happen, too. Not like that, but maybe. I'm done, sorry.
Ian, what about you?
Probably the Hulk. Because I've always been, growing up, I've always been quite a small, was always kind of like the small guy in the group and stuff like that. So the idea of being able to be suddenly really big.
And you're both scientists.
And we're both scientists, yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
That's great.
A lot in common.
Writes itself.
Does.
Yep.
Pitch it. I know a guy. This guy.
I know a guy.
Who doesn't know a guy?
I know a guy.
All in all, this was one of the more entertaining panels that I've seen in a long time. I guess I don't see a lot of panels, but this was definitely entertaining. They were engaging. They interacted with the fans as much as possible. They were funny. None of them didn't want to not be there, for whatever that means. So I really enjoyed it, and I wasn't even there. Will was there.
It was fun. It was great energy. The crowd really enjoyed what was going on. You could tell that they really enjoy working together and that they really appreciate their audience, which they should, because without their audience, they wouldn't have a job. But how I feel about actors sometimes. They were great. They were really forthcoming and felt very comfortable being up there and just goofing on each other.
Yep. As far as the Marvel Studios assembling a universe, I truly want to go out and buy something right now, preferably something Marvel, but it could be anything. But after seeing this, I am so excited for the next 3 things, the episode, the movie, the episode, that I just can't hardly wait. And then one last thing that we didn't touch on was that starting this week, which is April the 1st, they will literally go 7 weeks without a break right till the end. So it's going to be an amazing ride for the next 7 weeks. Stick with us. We'll be right there with you, and we can't wait for it. Right, Haley?
Right.
You know what? There's one thing that we forgot to talk about, that we forgot to mention. I was mentioning how great the audience loved them. And one thing that I noticed, the audience was very mixed. There were some older people and there were a lot of younger people and, my age and younger and older, whatever. When I sat down, I got to the theater early and I got there. Everybody was waiting outside with the paparazzi to watch the whole crew go by and do the step and repeat and have their pictures taken. And I was inside just playing games on my phone and waiting. And behind me came a mother and her daughter. And I'm thinking, I thought the daughter was a little bit younger, but I found out later she was like 10. I'm hearing the mother talk to the daughter, and the mother saying to the daughter, hey, okay, we're here, we're settled. And she's like, do you want me to get you anything to drink? Any water or anything? And this little girl goes, no, Mom, my thirst is quenched with excitement.
You actually had a chance to interview her too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Right before they started, I turned around and I asked her some questions. And if you have that, you could roll that. Okay, what's your name?
I'm Emma Hurtline.
Hurtline?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 10.
And why are you so excited to see this panel today?
I'm very excited to see this panel because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been recently my favorite show. I love Marvel. I really like the people that are in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a great show.
Have you seen all or a bunch of the movies?
I have seen, I think, all the movies except for the Hulks.
Mm-hmm. And who's your favorite character?
From S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
It's going to be a tie between Skye and Simmons. I love those.
Why do you like them so much?
I think Simmons, I just think they're pretty good role models in real life, and their characters are just really interesting, and I think they're a great part of the Marvel Universe.
Great, thank you so much. She was adorable.
She's cute. I can't imagine being that conversant at 10 years old. That's amazing.
Yeah, she knew exactly. Now that I hear it again, I'm like, I think this child had media training because she repeated the question to me in the form of an answer. And that's when you interview people, that's the first thing you tell them.
Wow. Good to know. You learn something new every day.
Yep.
So that's all I have for this week. What about you guys?
I don't think I have anything else.
What's that, Will?
I said that's it for me. I was stretching. That's it for me.
That's it for me. All
what
right.
were you stretching?
My arms. Oh, I get it now.
So that's it for us for this week. We will be coming back with End of the Beginning. Is that the episode title, Will?
Yes. The end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning.
Everything will be made clear.
Yeah, right. Until the movie. So the End of the Beginning, we will be watching that and podcasting on it, and Will be, if we don't, Will will spontaneously explode because he's been sitting on this episode for a week now.
Well, I'll just tell you what happens now.
Okay,
the
I'll
Earth
edit
explodes,
it out.
Everyone dies. It happens, and they all go off to live in Asgard.
Leaf on the wind. Leaf on the wind.
Yeah.
So,
too soon.
Yeah, too soon.
Too soon. By the way, Haley, before we break for this week, I was meaning on asking you, could you make sure that the bus gets a tune-up before next week? Because I heard a little bit of rattling going on and some banging around.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I think that was the dishes that she didn't get done that were left in the sink.
I'll get to it. Gosh, Dads.
Dad, stop. Oh.
I don't want to clean my room. God.
All right. As long as you keep the door shut. Anyway, we will
What are you
be
doing in there all day and night? Give someone else a chance.
We will be coming back next week for End of the Beginning. Then we will also try to slip in another podcast on the Winter Soldier. And then we will come back and give you a podcast on the next 6 weeks until the end of the season. Hopefully not series. So stay with us, folks. We're excited for this ride, and we hope you are too. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. Please get in touch with us. Any comments, suggestions, don't care what they are. Just love to hear from you. legendsofshield.com or our voicemail number at 612-888-POD0. And that's all we've got for this week. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao, ciao bella.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.